Okay, what's going on, everybody? We have the main previews catalog here for the month of November, and we're going to jump right in. We've got Once Upon a Time. I believe they're starting off with Boom, yes? Yeah. We've got Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, number 11 of 15. This is the Jason Aaron post-apocalyptic love/friendship story, buddy movie story that we've been enjoying quite a bit. This is the start of the third act, and probably the one I'm most excited for because it is drawn by Nick Dragotta. And as you can see, our main characters now are quite old, and it's been a lot of fun. I think once people get a hold of the entirety of this at once, they'll really think it's a very, very well done, well executed story. We are hoping to have Kyle Starks on the show soon. We had a fun chat with him briefly at New York Comic Con, where he was full of excitement about everything he's been doing and the things he's got coming up. One of those things is this, Pine and Merrimack, number 1 of 5, written by Starks with art by Fran Galan. This is a love story of sorts, and it's got a noir vibe, and I think it's going to stretch Kyle's chops a little bit, right? Because we kind of feel like he's amazing at what he does, but I think it'd be fun to see him try and give us something a bit different. And from what I understand, this is going to be that attempt. Here you can see Galan's art. It's just breathtaking stuff. It looks very European. He's also got that Bruce Timm way of drawing eyes and faces. The way the book is colored. This is going to be a home run, I think. Gonna just page through as we go. Highlight the things that I think are worth highlighting. Rare Flavors continues to be incredible. Final issue of Coda, for sure. Okay, now we're moving on to Dynamite, which is usually a pretty quick for me. I mean, props to Lilo and Stitch. My kids loved those movies when they were young, but don't need to read a comic of it. Hopefully this is awesome for my boy Caleb. I think he's the one person I know for sure is reading these Gargoyles comics. We've got new James Bond, which could be cool. It's written by Garth Ennis with art by Rafa Labosco. The fact that Ennis is writing James Bond is something I will take note of. I'm going to try this. Seems like they're doing pretty well with that. Justice Ducks. I'm all in for these duck books. I'm here for the Darkwing, I'm here for the Negaduck, and I'm here for the Justice Ducks. So, just fun stuff. Negaduck number 5 is a yes. Nice to see Jeff Parker doing a book that I'm reading. It's been a long time. That being said, Dynamite puts out a lot of stuff I am not reading. So apologies for the quiet, but it's a big catalog, you know? Going through it page by page takes some time. So sit back, relax, make yourself a nice coffee. We already did a video on the Image stuff, so I'm not going to re-look at this again, but there's lots and lots of Image. There, like I said, it's its own video, so if you're wondering what I'm up to over there, you can check that video out. We've got Aftershock. Seems like they're resoliciting a bunch of stuff. I enjoyed Insects when it came out many years ago. I think it came out in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. It's basically a body horror, like a monster horror book set in the backdrop of like a Victorian romance book. Titan often has good stuff. Conan is fun. Definitely into them having the Conan license. I know Daps enjoyed some of their Blade Runner efforts. I haven't read any of it, though. Didn't do a video last month, so apologies for not calling your attention to the first issue. Hopefully you found it anyway, but we've got the second issue of Life is Strange, Forget Me Not, which is written by Zoe Thorogood. with art by Claudia Leonardi and Andrea Izzo. H to the Izzo. Got the collection of The Mighty Barbarians, which was a fun miniseries by Michael Morecci and Giuseppe Cafaro. Got some Ablaze manga going on here. Don't think I'm up on any of it. Newish imprint Opus. They've been doing the Frazetta stuff lately. Guess they have the license, or I assume it's a license, right? I don't think Frazetta's ideas are public domain. It's crazy they're making an American Psycho comic. I mean, Peter Kowalski's art, so I mean that's intriguing. I love the novel. Movie was okay, so I don't know. Maybe I'll check that out if I think of it. I can't say that I didn't pre-order the first or second issue, but I might check it out if I hear good things. Here we've got Dark Horse in its new, hard to get adjusted to, small back feature area. Got a new Matt Kindt book. If You Find This, I'm Already Dead, #1, with art by Dan McDade. So that's a definite. Heard good things about Kill All Immortals by Zach Kaplan and Fico Ocio. So I'm going to check out that, at least for the first issue, and see what's doing there. I'm going to go through these slowly to make sure I'm not missing anything, because this is fertile ground usually. Here's the trade paperback for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Usagi Yojimbo Where When. I was reading that in issues and it was delightful. They're resoliciting the second volume of Night Eaters. It's pretty, I mean, the book just came out 2 months ago, so, but if for some reason you wanted the book and forgot to order it the first time, here is your chance to get it. Highly recommend that book. So this is interesting. Okay, I need to figure out what's going on here, because clearly Valiant is now Alien Books. Interesting. I don't know the story there. I guess Valiant sold to some, or got rebranded Alien Books. That is interesting. But yeah, it's Valiant. You can see it's Ninjak and Exo. Gonna have to look into that. I didn't realize that they are under a new imprint name. But you've got some reprints of the old Archer and Armstrong, which is classic stuff for sure. Interesting. Okay, well, we're going to have to see what's up with that. I was very confused there for a second. I'm not a big Antarctic or Aspen reader, as most of you know by now. God's bless Avatar continuing to sell their back catalog that's now, what, a decade old at a minimum? Without putting out any new stuff. They must have a big old warehouse somewhere full of those books. A lot of Dead Zone here in the middle of the... I guess we're not in the middle, we're on the B's still, so... Clover Press often has things that intrigue me, but this month it looks like they're mainly putting out art books. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that's not... takes a lot for me to want to buy an art book that... so none of those fit the bill for me. Drawn Quarterly is mostly resolicits of a lot of their manga. I have bought and read most of this already, including, as I'm looking here, yes, everything that you see here, manga, except for Nononba, I have and read. I own it and have read it already. Got that Distillery joint Stuff looks pretty good. Good, very good creative teams behind this new publisher. You've got Becky Cloonan and Tula Lotay here with Somna. I'm very excited to read that. I think they're smart. They're starting small. They're just putting out the one book at a time to get people comfortable with the quality of their product and not oversaturate the market. It's going to be very hard for any new publisher, even with pedigree, to break into this current direct-to-market state of affairs. We've got some Chaykin, another Alien Books. Interesting. Forsker. I have to really look into what this Alien Books is. It seems like they've got a bunch of different imprints now. Huh. It's interesting. This is Chaykin, Sunshine Patriots. We just had Chaykin on the show. I was not on that episode, but my booze did a great job chatting him up. Fanta, you know, is usually a place of great interest. Certainly the newest Johnny Ryan is going to be fun. The Hypericum by Manuel Fior looks terrific. I'll be getting both of those. The rest look like resolicits. I'm intrigued by this. I remember vividly, I wasn't reading much, certainly wasn't reading much of any European import stuff back then. But this was, I remember this was talked about, God, probably on the CGS, on Comic Geek Speak. I'm pretty sure before we were doing our show. And it was called, in France, it was Je suis Legion. It was the name of the book. And I remember, I think maybe they had Cassaday on the podcast. I just remember that it was a big deal that John Cassaday was doing this bande dessinée called Je suis Legion. So I'm intrigued that it's now coming here through Humanoids in a English version, in a deluxe oversized. So, you know, I'm not the biggest Cassaday fan, at least what he does now, but there was a time when I loved Cassaday, especially in his prime. And this was way back when. So I'm going to do a little digging on this, but I may be up on this one. Oh, here you go. Here's some art. Yeah, it looks good. It looks like the Cassaday that I used to enjoy reading, so I'm probably going to get that. I'm going to get this, The Swords of Glass, Volume 1, oversized edition. It's a fantasy epic. It's been printed in lots of different forms over the years, but it's the first time I remember seeing it in this kind of archival form in English. Lots of preview art here, too, as well, you can see. So, to sell you on it. As Vince mentioned on this week's episode of the podcast, Humanoids is resoliciting a bunch of the, repackaging a lot of the second cycle stuff for Jodorowsky. So a lot of the Meta Barons, you know, it's going to be awesome. I'm just so, as we've talked about a lot, I eventually want to read all this stuff, but I need to read it. I need to read the OG stuff first before I can dive into the newer stuff. But my lack of reading that is just not in any way intentional. It's definitely stuff that I hope to someday consume and enjoy. Got a list here of Plaza. I'll just mention it because it was a really interesting book. I talked about it on the. You can do a search on our archives for it, Plaza. But it was definitely a unique reading experience in a good way. Shout out to Skeeters, because our friend of the show, Kelly Williams, is doing the book. He sent us a copy of issues 1 and 2, and it was definitely fun, like bug horror sci-fi stuff, kind of campy B-movie type of a vibe. So this is interesting. We've got this thing called Tezukami by Magnetic. You know, I'm a big fan of Magnetic. Basically what it is characters that Osamu Tezuka created. Other creators are doing their versions of the characters in their style. Should be a lot of fun. Should be beautiful. Some of the we've got Babolet, who is just amazing. You've got Victor Santos, who you know I love. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I think that's going to be an absolute home run when we get it. They're putting out a new version of Scott Pilgrim for 20th anniversary. Some of you younger listeners may not realize what a massive book that was when it was coming out. It was definitely one of the it books of the moment. Little vault action. Their catalog is very much expanded, right? You've got a collection of Godfell. I've heard good things about it. Haven't read it myself. If you like naughty comics, please do check out the 4th volume of Money Shot. It's basically a space sex romp, and this volume was drawn by longtime friend of the show, Giselle Legasse, and written by a friend of the show, Tim Seeley. I will mention that Escapo is getting republished by Z2. Escapo's classic Paul Pope work. I have a copy of this from another publisher that I got at Mocha years ago, but if you don't have this work, it is absolutely worth your attention. I think that pretty much does it, right? Yeah, we're into the... We'll do a quick pass to the headline manga just to see if anything stands out. Like, for example, as you know, I'm not much on recommending manga, but every now and then, Taiyo Matsumoto did Cat of the Louvre, which was really interesting work. And this is his follow-up to that, so I'm probably going to get that, or at least try the first volume. And that pretty much does it. So there you have it. There's the main catalog. Not as jam-packed with stuff as it used to be, but there's still some good things in there. If you're willing to take the time to look through it, there's always some gems and some things that will certainly be among the best things that I read this coming year. And I hope you at least found a nugget or two in this meandering that you can add to your list. Talk to you soon.